Hi everyone, my name is Angela and I'm one of the volunteers at Rexdale Community Center, and I'm here today to present a short clip on research and also citation, which are a really important part of education and all your courses that you've been taking. If there are any research component, I believe that this will be really helpful, whether that is for a specific course like business, history, geography, or whether that's for English. So let's get started. So I wanted to start with talking a little bit on about research. So what is considered a good source? So there are some examples here. Scholarly peer-reviewed articles, trade or professional articles, magazine articles, books, and newspapers from well-established sources, and also certain websites and blogs. And I think a common question that students have is, can I use Wikipedia? And the answer is no, just because Wikipedia is not one of the academic sources. And if you have an account, then you can go and change the content on Wikipedia. So I would use it as a starting point, but I would definitely not rely as your main source. And I would go and look for alternative sources from websites. And why I said certain website is because you have to take a look at the content to see that if the website itself is credible, if the blog itself is credible, and if the content of the information is relevant to what you're searching for, and it contains a lot of great information that is not the author's opinion and contains a lot of facts. So that's what you'll be looking for. Moving on, how you can go about finding a good source. One is use Google Advanced Search. So when you go and search on Google, you have the option to click on Advanced Search, which means that you include specific keywords in the article and also in the content, in the title. Second is look for the date. So usually for articles, you want to avoid looking at articles older than 10 years, so older than 2011. I know that some other subjects are more strict with that, so they don't want to look at articles older than 5 years, so 2016. So definitely let your professor or your teacher know, but recency is a great measurement to see if the course is if the citation or the source is relevant. Third is avoid using websites that do not cite their sources, and this is a big one. So usually there are going to be blogs or articles where, again, we based on what I said earlier, that had author's opinion or personal opinion. And it's very helpful if you scroll down to the bottom of the page and see if they referred or if the author referenced any materials. So if the website does not cite their sources and it's not a publicly recognized newspaper or magazine, then I would avoid using these websites. And lastly is use Google Scholar. So Google Scholar is an advanced search algorithm to filter out like reference articles, academic journals, peer-reviewed journals, so you know that the results will be very accurate and they will be really suitable for search. Generally, they are on the longer side, so that's something to keep in mind as well. And then I like to talk a little bit about plagiarism. So plagiarism, just by definition, is a practice of taking someone else's work and passing it as one's own. I think a lot of the times we in research is so easy when an article says something for you to just write it down and put it in your article. And I think that this is something that I want to bring your attention to, because plagiarism is actually a breach of academic integrity, which means that you're not writing the work in your own words. So let's take a look at some of the ways that we can do to avoid plagiarism. So 5 ways that I've cited here. One is to cite your sources. So I've included in my next deck or in my next slide 2 common for source formatting. And then second is include quotation. So if you take something directly from a website, add quotation marks, right? So that shows to the reader that the sentence is not your own words and that's word by word from the source. Third is paraphrasing, so making sure that you're expressing the idea in your own way. Lastly is fourthly, presenting your own ideas, and lastly, use a plagiarism checker. So an example of something I use is Grammarly. So Grammarly has this feature, but there will be a lot of other websites online for free where it checks plagiarism for you. So definitely recommend using that if you wanted to give your article or a paper a last read. And then here, looking at more on the citation side, I've listed two formats. So MLA and APA, Modern Language Association and American Psychological Association. For the complete formatting, I would recommend you refer to Purdue University because they have a comprehensive guide on how to source. Another website that I like to use is bit.me.org. So all you have to do is create a free account with your email, and then you can click on, I want to create MLA style sources, and then you can copy the URL and it would populate the field for you. So it's a very easy way for you to do sources, but it's very important that you do them at the end. So an example that I found online is of how MLA looks like is that for example, you include the author's last name, first name, title of collection, edited by editor, publisher, year, and page. So this is if you're going to cite a book, but the citation will look like different if you're citing for a website. So I definitely recommend checking out bit.me.org, create an account, and just try to navigate the page. It makes citing things very, very easy. And that's all I wanted to cover today. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out, and I look forward to in our next tutoring session.